With the Junos right around the corner, the city is getting ready for the party of a lifetime. Artists from across the country will invade Calgary for the big award show slated for Sunday. Jessica Scott has been following the Juno events and joins us from the SAIT campus. Jessica, the last time the Junos were here was in 2008. What's the difference this time around?
Aaron, for the past week, the city has been thriving with musicians and artists from all over Canada. In such an economic downturn, the Junos are exactly what Calgary needs right now. Calgary has seen hundreds of layoffs and tighter budgets over the past year, so hosting an event such as the Junos is an amazing opportunity for the city. Mayor Naheed Nenshi has dubbed 2016 the Year of Music in Calgary. For the past week, Canadian artists have taken over the city, performing anywhere from the C Train to venues like Flame Central.
This week is actually coinciding with the National Music Center's grand opening. Parts of it are already open, but this week is officially all of its opening. And so Nenshi is very much about the arts and culture, so he's trying to really promote Canadian and Calgary artists. So this is the first time that they're really pushing the Juno events to really showcase our Canadian talent.
The Glenbow Museum is bringing a whole new edge to the Junos with an interactive tour of Canadian art. The pieces were hand-selected by past and current Juno nominees from the Glenbow's Hidden Art Collection. This is just one example of the hundreds of venues piggybacking off the Juno hype.
It's a matter of all the support network that goes into it. You have hospitality, so you've got food, you've got hotel rooms, you've got the technical side. This city has a massive talent pool of freelance technicians in lighting and sound and video. All of those people are working to the max this weekend. All of that pools into the economy, gives everybody work.
Crews have been working all week to set up a stage worthy of hosting world-class artists. Come Sunday night, the Saddle Dome will have completely transformed with an LED screen standing 38 feet tall and over 1,100 light fixtures illuminating inside the arena. The show is sold out, but don't worry, you can still catch performers around the city by heading to junooawards.ca. Back to you, Aaron.
Jessica Scott reporting live from the SAIT campus. The two men arrested in connection with the shooting in Marlborough yesterday will not face murder charges at this time. Police say one of the men was charged with breach of condition and released, and the other is still in custody and faces other unrelated charges. 22-year-old Emmanuel Kerr was gunned down in front of his home on Maryville Drive in the city's northeast. Police believe it may have been an act of revenge for a 2012 homicide when 24-year-old Philip Salveu Annie was shot near his home in Applewood. Police say everyone involved is known to each other, and they have had numerous run-ins with the law on violence, property, and drug-related incidents in the past. One person is awaiting charges following a bizarre joyride that had police helicopters busy Thursday morning. It started downtown when an officer spotted a Ford F-150 driving with its lights off, and finding that odd, called for a police helicopter to follow the truck. The truck was at a parking lot in Dover when the driver got out and jumped into a white BMW that he used to ram two police cruisers at the corner of 6th Ave and 9th Street Southwest. The man returned to the parking lot, dumping the BMW and running to a nearby park to hide. A K-9 unit located him around 3:30 a.m. where he was arrested. Both vehicles were stolen with their license plates swapped, and police say no one was hurt in the incident. The Alberta government has promised to take action to make school communities safer, and today was the deadline for schools to submit new policies to make that happen. Schools have until the end of the day to submit their changes to the government, and as Hilary Alexander reports, the bulk of school districts, including the majority here in Calgary, have met the deadline.
Schools across our province submitted documents today to Alberta Education saying how they will deal with students and staff that fall into vulnerable groups. That includes anyone identifying with the LGBTQ community. Education Minister David Eggen gave the update on policy submissions from school authorities to support safe and caring schools. Eggen says it's fitting that today marks International Transgender Day of Visibility.
But certainly, at the end of the day, we are here to make sure that we look after a very vulnerable population and to make sure that they are treated with equality and the social justice that they deserve. And so that's the premise that I will base my moving forward on, and I think the vast majority of Albertans would expect nothing less.
Here at SAIT, people in minority communities are welcome. SAIT instructor Gianna Smith, who is formerly known as Graham Smith, is currently transitioning from a man to a woman. She says she has been very impressed by the support she has found at SAIT through her students and colleagues.
Huge forward thinking on the part of management here, and that just makes, besides having the convenience of a washroom, that's you're worried about offending people, right? So it's good for everyone to have non-threatening, gender-neutral kind of thing.
Egan says schools have worked very hard to come up with a working and caring way to include all people in the school community. But there's still some holdouts.
And in the spirit that we have embarked on this, it's not a punitive exercise, but rather it's been collaborative, which has allowed school boards to build policy together with their public, with students and parents, and we will continue down that path as well.
While not all schools have sent in their policies, Egan said that no school in the jurisdiction of Alberta has said they will not send in their policies. For State Newsfile, I'm Hilary Alexander.
The business of agriculture is on the rise, with sales in 2014 reaching almost $30 billion. A new lab at SAIT is breaking barriers in the industry and helping to bring Canada to the international stage in one of the world's most powerful markets. Until last month, the International Committee for Animal Recording had only had 2 labs in the world that tested tracking equipment for livestock, and both were located in Europe. The third is now right here on SAIT campus, and Project Lead Bob Davies says the hope is the industry in Canada will benefit because of it.
We started this lab originally to address more of the Canadian concerns with the conformance and performance of animal RFID equipment. And in the process, we realized that it was also really important for Canada to become a player in the international picture.
Being accredited means SAIT's lab is now able to evaluate tag manufacturers' equipment to ensure it meets the strict international and national codes before being sold, and that when it is sold, our meat is properly tracked and safe. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau spoke to the United States Chamber of Commerce today, telling the audience that Canada is more than just a natural resources country. The latest GDP numbers showed better than expected growth in January, and Trudeau promoted his government's first federal budget as an investment in the future. The U.S. visit comes just days after Trudeau was here on the SAIT campus during a Calgary visit to discuss unemployment insurance in our city. The GDP rose by 0.6% in January, doubling economists' predictions for Canada. Tomorrow, the Prime Minister will attend the start of a 2-day nuclear summit at the White House, hosted by U.S. President Barack Obama, where they will discuss the worst-case scenario of terrorists obtaining a nuclear weapon. A new report from the Fraser Institute says the debt over the next 5 years could be much higher than the NDP is forecasting. The government's forecast predicts a debt of about $20 billion by 2019-2020, but the Institute's Steve Lafleur says those numbers leave out significant risks that could raise the totals quickly. Lafleur predicts overall debt load could hit $36 billion by 2020, or about $8,000 per person. Break out the birthday balloons and practice your singing because SAIT is celebrating its 100th birthday this year. Students graduating in 2016 are part of the last classes of SAIT's first century in existence, so walking the halls during these next 7 months is something very special indeed. Carol O'Loughlin reports on SAIT's rich history and the Centennial Project created to commemorate this once-in-a-lifetime celebration.
Happy birthday, SAIT. I hope this year is all that you wanted it to be.
2016 will see SAIT celebrate 100 years of shaping our city, our province, and our nation. SAIT started out in the middle of the First World War as a small school in a rented building and since has become one of the most innovative and progressive post-secondary educational facilities in the world.
It makes you feel that you're in a place that's special because there's history behind SAIT. It's quite a monumental school compared to many other places in Calgary that we've been around for so long. 2 world wars we've been through. It feels good.
From cooking to sports and even a recent visit from the Prime Minister to discuss employment insurance, SAIT continues to put itself on the global map as a colorful environment able to adapt and advance.
I think no matter what happens around the world, SAIT is so successful with their students and their programs that I think they'll do great no matter what.
SAIT's Centennial Project is a year-long birthday celebration that will see the school contribute to 100 charitable projects, build a mosaic of 10,000 selfies, and award scholarships of more than $100,000. Director of the project, Kathy Downey, says if there's one word to describe SAIT's presence, both in the past and looking forward to the future, it's relevant.
SAIT's been relevant for its first 100 years of education. It'll be relevant for its next 100 years. And the Centennial is relevant to all of that. We want to show that we care, we want to show that we inspire, we want to show that we can celebrate.
And celebrate they will. Rumor has it there may be a 300-pound birthday cake.
SAIT's official birthday isn't until October 16th, and celebrations are going to be taking place all year until then. If you have any ideas or questions, email SAIT100@SAIT.ca. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Kira O'Loughlin.
March is National Nutrition Month, and the SAIT Nutrition Program was rallying up excitement to wrap up the month-long campaign. The students and faculty of the nutrition program spent 2 days in the Senator Burns building, aiming to promote nutrition and teach us simple ways to make our healthy changes in our diets. The spinning wheel was one of the most popular attractions, where you spin the wheel and answer a question depending on the color. If you get the answer right, you're entered into a draw for one of the many prizes. The group was also handing out healthy snack samples to spread awareness about what we put into our body when we need something quick and easy. This was the best turnout the group has seen for the annual event. They drew for all the prizes this afternoon and will contact the winners by email. It's Juno weekend, but that isn't all that's happening in Calgary this weekend. Check out what Darcy Waters has in this week's community calendar.